Oh, I come your way again to discuss this, add my voice on this discussion on tithing. It's become a problem in our environment, so we need to understand. And incidentally, I've written a book. I wrote a book in 2018 on tithing, and it was it's on Amazon. It was reputed as 100 and I think 108 or so on environmental economics. So you can check me out on Amazon on tithing, and you see 100 facts about tithing. All right, so today I want to talk about the meaning, the nature of the tithe, nature of tithing. What is tithing? The discussion is, what is tithing? What is it? In the discussion of today, I'm going to go into the physical side. I'm going to go to the spiritual side, and then x-ray tithing beyond the ordinary concept of money giving, because tithing has become so materialized such that it's become so monetized. And then I think this is part of what led to the outrage of people, because churches have anchored on tithing as though the whole church is driven by it. In fact, somebody has said, if you don't pay tithe, you won't go to heaven. That is outrageous. That's getting matters too far. So tithing, I want to explain tithing this way. I told you in the first discussion in this series that tithing is a law that is derived. No law in the Bible is an abstract commandment. It's something that just given. If you check inside, if you understand the universe properly, if you understand how things work, you discover that that law has an intrinsic reason. It has a reason beyond the external proclamation. So also in the issue of tithing. So tithing, if you look at it, you discover that human beings, you are created, and then you are like embodiment of the physical universe, the embodiment of physical existence. So you are the king. Human being is the king of physical existence, and human being is given 10 to operate. You are given 10 toes. The toes help in locomotion, help in movement, help in being firm, taking hold of the planet, taking hold of the environment, taking hold of the earth. You need the toes to be firm on the ground. You need the hold to take possession of something by standing on it. You need 10 fingers for industry. You need 10 fingers for activity. If you want to become resourceful, if you want to do activities, you need fingers. Fingers help you in warfare. It doesn't mean fighting. It means in adventure. Adventure in activities, in industry, in activities that lead to resourcefulness. You need 10. So you see, that is 10 given to you. Your body is expressed in terms of industry and locomotion in 10. So you see tithe there? You are given 10 to operate. You're given 10 to make maximum impact. You're given 10 to be resourceful, to be successful. 10 is given to you. So this 10, it runs through in the program of God. It runs through in the laws. You see, when God made human beings, we are only told about one Adam. One Adam. Out of all human beings, nobody is talked about except Adam. Adam is revealed to us as the first human being, or the only human being that we should know as the origin of all human races. One out of multitude, a tenth. God deals with a tenth, in dealing with us, and we deal with a tenth in dealing with God. God deals with 10 in dealing with us, and we deal with 10 in dealing with God. So 10 we see there in the issue of creation of human beings. We see also in the working of God with the Jews. He brought out one family out of all the families of the world. Only one family was taken. So out of all the nations of the earth, out of all the families, one was taken. Out of this one family, and they became a nation, one family was taken, that is called the Levitical family. One family was taken, so that's the 10th. Out of the family of Israel, one family was taken. Out of this family, we say a family of Levite was taken. Out of the Levite, you see, one family again was taken, family of Aaron. Why these ones are the priests. The high priest family is Aaronic. You see 10 there. And it is to this one family that the 10th is to be given, to the Levites. And the Levite paid tithe to the Aaronic family, the high priest. You see the 10th there. You see the 10 principle running there. So you see these 10 principles. So the Bible as a system of religion, or as a revelation of religious knowledge reveals sacrifice. So this Aaronic family or Levitical family, where they take charge of the tabernacle, they were to take charge of sacrificial system, which is a way of worship. Worship is about sacrifice. But this sacrifice started like animal. People bring animals, bring things, bring grains and all of that sacrifice. But sacrifice is not, this was symbolic and expressive way of sacrifice. Sacrifice is donating yourself. It's self-consecration. It is you being lost in God. Sacrifice is consummated in this statement that says, thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your might, with all your strength, with all your mind, with all your soul. That's sacrifice. So it's giving your wholeness, the totality. That's sacrifice. So at the end of the day, the fullness of sacrifice was revealing Christ giving himself, submitting his will to God's will. That's sacrifice. Consecrating his will to do the will of God. Suspending his own interest for the interest of God. That's sacrifice. So when he did that, he surrendered himself to fulfill God's interest, which is to save humanity. So the ultimate of sacrifice was his self-giving. So he dispensed with animals, he dispensed with grains, and then offered himself, because that was the goal of sacrifice. It was to bring about human commitment to God. It was to bring about human yieldedness of his will to God's will. It was to subjugate human will to the supremacy of God's will. It was to understand the ultimacy of following the direction of God. It was to show that human being can only live by dying to serve or dying to be alive in God. Jesus said, whoever will keep his life will lose it. That's sacrifice. Whoever will give it up will gain it. That's sacrifice. John said, I must decrease, he must increase. That is sacrifice. So religious system, the whole system of following God is about sacrifice. But sacrifice must go beyond killing animal, because God does not drink blood. God does not smell the burning of animal flesh. God is not interested in whatever. This was simply at the primitive level of growth in the knowledge of human beings towards God. So as you advance, you understand sacrifice is not external thing outside you. You are the one to surrender yourself to God. So discover that at the end of the day, for you to be born again, for you to be a child of God, you have to obey the law of tithing, which is giving your heart. Giving your heart. That is sacrifice. You surrender your heart. You don't give all of you. You don't give your feet. You don't give your hands. You don't give your ears. You don't give your eyes. When you give your heart. When you give your heart, you've given all. So you see, tithing goes beyond the physical, material domain. It goes beyond the financial domain to being sacrificial, to giving up. Giving up. Giving up in this sense becomes a tenth of it. For instance, when God gave the law, he gave 10 commandments. That's 10. But he brought one. If you obey one, you obey all. What is the law? The law of love. When you love your neighbor as yourself, you have fulfilled all the laws. So in fulfilling the law of God, tithe is required. In giving the law, a tenth is required. God did not give 1 million commandments, just 10 commandments. So out of these 10 commandments, how do you fulfill it? By obeying one. So you see, tithing goes beyond material elements, goes beyond monetization, goes beyond just externalization of it. So it is an embodiment. I said every law is derived. It's an embodiment of the way of worship. So thank you for listening to me again today. You see our social media handles there. Please like our Facebook page. You can connect with us on WhatsApp. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much for listening.